And the decision that was done in Israel, and I'm not going to argue about it because that's a fact of life we need to live in. Many colleges have been opened. Many students went to the colleges. Big debate if what is the quality of this guy, but this is the environment we need to act, and definitely it's a problem that we need to give an answer. There was major crisis in the management of the university. It's not a secret, I'm not going to hide it. And interesting enough, by the way, Ami Ayalon, who I had the privilege to replace, when he came to my home to try to replace me, and Ron actually took everybody, even figured out who are my friends, and they start calling me home. Ami Ayalon told me, Mooly, we had our challenges, we have got our problem, we've done our share. I believe it's time for us to step down and have new people because I don't believe we're effective enough. And his openness really helped me make up my mind. And he said, Mooly, we have got a problem, we need to change, and as you can see, actually the whole management, Ron, Gustavo, are new people. If I go on to see what's the problem, there was no clear strategy. The first thing I did with every one of the person that I was speaking, I said, what is the university's strategy? And 60–70% Ron about didn't know what the university strategy, and the other 30 gave me the strategy for the jour, which means everybody decide what's his strategy for the university. And then I remember some people asked me, should we or shouldn't we absorb Browder? And I said, tell me what's your strategy. If it supports the strategy, let's do it. If it does not support the strategy, let's not do it. But if you don't know what's your strategy, how the hell you make decision at all? So this was very strange, very interesting. And again, my impression, bad external image, it's not a secret. We are not respected enough as we should do by the environment. When I joined the university, some people called me, you know, you joined the Beer Z University? And many people, even in the university, started apologizing. No, let's take a lemon, make it lemonade. The fact that we are microcosmos of Israel, if we'll show how to work with the Arabs, etc., 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 that's supposed to be our advantage, not disadvantage. We should not be apologetic about it. But guys, this is the perception about Israel, and this will define the flow of students or the quality of students that are going to come to our university. Definitely, we need to tackle it and change it. Going on, and by the way, there's a lot, esprit de corps. Many of the people that even work in the university are not proud enough. Some of the people that came to me to persuade me to come to university said, Mooly, we need to change the perception. There are 7 universities, today there are 8. 7 universities, we are number 7. And I'm a number person. When I start looking at the number of the university, guys, we are not number 7. In several faculties, we are the best in Israel. In several faculties, we are the 2nd or 3rd best in Israel. But the people that are leading the university, some of the faculty members told me, and if this is the perception, how do you want the great people to come over? Insufficient fundraising. We spoke about it. Guys, when I was speaking with some of the deans, they were told me, Mooly, we are losing PhDs or postdocs to other universities in Israel because they give them higher scholarship. It's crazy. And actually, I was sitting with Lily, I believe she's here 2 days ago. She's the Dean of Advanced. I say, how much money you need in order to be able to match all the other universities? It's impossible. It's unacceptable that we'll use a good academic researchers due to money. If the subject is not interesting, okay. If the other researcher is more appealing, okay. But for money, this is not acceptable. And actually, I believe that Ron and myself decided this is not going to be the case in the next year. We are going to schnorr, we are going to beg. I don't know what we are going to do. But our responsibility to the academic world is to make sure that this will not be a reason. And by the way, we're just looking into it, and she gave me yesterday a spreadsheet with all the numbers. Say, Mooly, we need $1.5 per year in order to be able to match other university because we give 120,000 shekels scholarship for a PhD and they give 240. This is not acceptable. This is part of the fundraising, and definitely Ron is laughing at me, say $1.5 million. Mooly, you are speaking the small money. Shut up. I'll give you the 1.5. Let me deal with the big money, and Ron will speak about it later on. And the thing that drove me nuts, especially when I was speaking with the academic world, I said, why are you doing it? And the answer was, this is the way we all did it. And I say, for a high-tech person, the fact that you always did it, that's a good reason by itself to go and change it. And I'll share it with you in a second. And when I heard this word, which is annoying and crazy, I said, okay, yes, I'm going to join the university. And I called Ron. Tooth in advertisement, I believe Ron was surprised. He was sure that I rejected as well. And I'm still surprised until today, but that's another problem. But I believe that Rahm Emanuel, who is the chairman of, who was the chief of staff of Obama, and today I believe he's the mayor of Chicago, he said that the crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And I've seen it in Intel. All the best things that we've done in Intel are on the ashes of some problem that we failed, and then we come with something beautiful. And I say, if we've got a crisis, or if we are not the best or the second best university in Israel, that's a great opportunity for us. So don't misunderstand me. During the interviews, there have been a lot of good things that we need to strengthen. First of all, sense of change. I'll definitely give the credit to Ron and Gustavo. I joined it later on. But people sense that there is a change, and I believe Fred spoke about it, and they say, we are willing. Some of the academic people, you will not believe it, even ask, is there a way we can help? This was supposed to be a joke. Never mind, I'll tell you when to laugh later on, because normally they think about themselves and about their academic research, but people say, yes, we understand, we see the change, we would like to help you to drive the change. A new president and rector, many new young faculty members in the next 5 years, 25% of the faculty members of the university are going to change. And if we define our strategy, who are the people? And when I say we, it's definitely the academic section, not the management. Definitely we can come up with a new university that will tackle the new challenges. Positive trend. I will not go into detail. Major improvement on national research model. We found out we got many more grants and articles, and our share was increased, which gave us more money, but definitely it's a very positive trend. Line of sight to value-add expansion, Broad, Ovitz, or Rambam, and intentionally, I will not elaborate. I don't want to duplicate, or that you'll hear Ron and myself twice. So my speech or my short talk today and Ron's talk tomorrow about the multiversity, etc., I see it as a one coherent picture, and he will complement whatever I will leave open-ended. And definitely focus on international collaboration, which Ron brought with him from NYU. So first of all, we start looking at the high-level strategy and truthful advertisement. This activity started, I believe, before I joined. I believe I was putting extra pressure on it, but some of the activity was done before. And you know, I'm a student. I look up to Andy Grove. Andy Grove was one of the three founders of Intel, one of the smartest person in the world. And he came to the US to my lab. I was responsible for man-machine interface, how to deal with his computer, and he wanted to visit me before I came back to Israel, and he came to me, by the way, Jewish refugee from Hungary, very strong accent, and he looks at me and says, Mr. Eden, can you articulate your strategy? And for 2 seconds, I was not working fast enough in my brain, which you always need to do when you're next to Andy, and I said, do you want the 30-second version or the 30-minute version? And he looks at me and says, Mr. Eden, if you need 30 minutes to articulate your strategy, you don't have a strategy at all. Still remember, sometime I wake at night. He was right. So we have our debates, and this is work in progress, and I believe we'll need to continue it. But I would like to take the commitment together with Ron and Gustavo that within a year, or less than a year, everybody will agree, everybody will understand it, everybody will be able to articulate at night. And this is the way that we'll judge project on everything based on the strategy. So this is work in progress, but I believe there's buy-in from almost everybody. We need to clean it. First of all, and there was a big debate, what is the university? We've got our responsibility to society, to the North, Jews, Arabs, or academic excellence? And the answer is, as a university, the first priority is academic excellence. Because if you'll not have academic excellence as a university, you'll not get the best researchers, you'll not get the best students, you'll not get the best, you will not be able to drive all the other things which are so important to some of us or to many of us. And for that reason, when we go and make a step, the first question we'll ask us, is it going to help us to excel as an academic or not? If the answer is yes, we'll go there. Definitely, you need to be pragmatic. By the way, it was not so simple, but I believe that the University of Haifa, or all universities, will be different universities 10 years from now, or will not be. On the verge of change, it's true for high-tech, true for everything, that's an opportunity to lose or to win, and I believe we need to win. But the university is going to be different, the teaching is going to be different, and if we'll be able to do it, we'll get the student that we need. And definitely, it's important, we need to strengthen the Israeli society, and Fred and many people spoke about it, and you'll hear a lot about it. I believe we've got a major objective because we are kind of a picture of a microcosmos that need to be in Israel. If we'll be able to do it, everybody. Now, we don't finish this because Andy Grove, that, you know, the person that I admire, and he was also my nightmare, he was always looking at me when I came with a great idea, and he's telling me, Mr. Eden, your strategy is as good as your execution. So you can come with whatever strategy you want, but if you do not know how to implement it, it's bullshit. So I'll go very fast, and I'll give you only one example. Hiring outstanding faculty member, it costs money, and retaining existing outstanding, which is not less important, strengthening research, BNB perceived as one of the leading academic, and the last one, serve the new wave, digital everywhere, and you'll hear tomorrow about digital humanity and digital social sciences, all kind of crazy things. So we've got the next level of detail, and the most important, I'll go to the other thing, is the road to implement our strategy. University of Haifa, the multiversity is something that Ron is pushing very strongly. I believe Fred elaborated on it. It's the next level of detail. It's not the final things, but definitely it's not only a strategy, it's a strategy, and it's a plan that supports the strategy in order to be able to implement it and be a different university, because again, if we are not in the top 3, we need to be different. Now, if I need to share with you one thing from 33 years in the high-tech industry, is this graph. This is the number of bits that's running in the internet. I will not elaborate 10 in the power of 18, it's a huge number, and this was true for 2015, but the point which is important, in the next 2 years, we'll have more bits in the internet than the number of bits that went in the internet since the internet was invented. IBM said that if you look at the data that exists in the universe today, 90% of the data was stored there in the last 2 years. If you look at the transistors, which again coming from my territory, but transistor for you, it's a Lego, it's a building block of every computer, every phone, every electrical device. The number of transistors that we are going to ship in the coming 2 years is going to be bigger than the number of transistors that have been shipped to the market since 1949 when the transistor was invented. What am I trying to say? Guys, the world used to be linear. 30 years ago, it was fun to manage in Intel. Today, the world is exponential. Things are running so fast, it's almost impossible to predict. It's difficult to run this business. But the important message, and if there's one message I would like to leave you with when I'm leaving the stage, is the following. The exponential phenomena looks like a technology revolution, but it is not. The exponential phenomena affect every fact of our life. Let's take an example. If I look at geopolitical, you know the Arab Springs. I'm afraid to speak over here. There are many people that really know what they're talking about. So correct me or call me honest if I make a mistake. The Arab Spring, there was an Arab in Tunisia. He was arrested by the police, etc. He killed himself. So what? Many Arabs have been killed before. Many will be killed later. You take this person that was harassed, that committed suicide. You compare it with Facebook and Twitter, and you've got revolution that sweeps almost all the Middle East. That's a technology-inspired revolution. Let's look at another thing. What's happening today all over the Middle East? London, another definitely exponential phenomenon. Sorry? ISIS, definitely Daesh. This is an exponential phenomenon. And I remember I was in Saban Forum and I was speaking with Hillary and stuff like this, and I was there for 3 days, and I say, guys, you didn't surprise me for a second. I'm here 3 days, which means you think linear. The world is acting exponential. You're going to be dead. It's going to hurt you. ISIS. Let's look at economy. Airbnb. How many rooms do they have? 0. How many rooms do they rent? More than many of the other hotels. If you look at the car industry, the same. Whenever you look at each section of our life, it's changing exponentially, inspired by technology. I will not go into this detail because there are professors over here, but social networking, the way that we communicate with each other, all these things are exponential changes. And for that reason, I said the university and everything around us is not going to be any different than this. And time constant is changing. What we used to do in 5 years, we need to do in 3. What we used to do in 3, we need to do in 1. What we did 1, we need to do in 5 months. That's how we do design in Intel. And gentlemen, if we'll not be able to do it in university, we'll not be competitive. The world is not waiting for us. Now, the reason I believe we can do it, because I believe we are on the verge of the 4th revolution, that because we are living in it, many people do not feel it. I'm claiming it for 4 years. I see more and more people also recognize it as a revolution. The Industrial Revolution have got 3 revolutions. This is the 4th one. The first one was definitely the steam. The second one was the electricity. The third one was what we call ICT, information communication technology, internet. And the 4th one is the one that we are living right now, and it's a combination of 4 frightening vectors. The first one is unlimited compute power in your fingertips. Guys, everybody that's got a phone, you've got more compute power in order of magnitudes, more than the Apollo shuttle that went to the moon. I know that he's trying to hunt me. Try hard. So first of all, we've got compute power. Now try without the foils, try to be with me. Shoof. So one is compute power. The other thing is data. Why? We've got unlimited amount of data, beautiful, unlimited amount of data from IoT, stuff like this, and I'll show you about it in a moment. The third one, which I believe we are touching in the university, is artificial intelligence, which means all these algorithms that together with the compute power and the data, we can do things that we always wanted to do but couldn't do in the past, and pretty soon, and I'll not touch about it at all, we are going to develop computer, we've got the same compute power as human brain. And the last thing is definitely the issue of robotics. This is humanoid, but I'm speaking about robots in general. Let me give you an example of what we are speaking. When I graduated the Technion, I was dealing with kilobyte, 1,000 bytes when I was working in my computer. If we look a few years later, when we have our computers, our terminals, and the computer was in the back, we were dealing with megabytes. A few years later, when we invented the internet, the 19s, we were speaking about gigabytes. When we are speaking about the mobile, which we are using today, we are already speaking terabyte, and we try to predict what will happen in 2020. We are speaking about more bits, more information than the stars in the universe. We speak actually about zettabyte. A lot of you like the numbers, 10 in the power of 21. So the big revolution we are going to have, and I believe that we'll need to make sure that the university is jumping on this way, is the big bang of data, which means how do we deal with this huge amount of data? But on the other thing, which is not less important, more important, the bang of big data, which means how you utilize all this information in order to come with a conclusion. How you collect, how you analyze, and most important, how you predict. Today, with this amount of data, many times we do not know to ask the question, but we've got the tool that can help us to look at this huge amount of databases. I'm speaking with Ron, I speak with Gustavo, I know that they share the vision. I know that you'll hear tomorrow strange words like digital humanities or digital social sciences, or things that if we'll be smart enough to jump on this wagon, we'll be among the first university. I believe, and this is my personal opinion, I might be wrong, that in 5-10 years you will not be able to do a thesis without being able to utilize this technology, not necessarily develop it, but at least know how to use these technologies. So what is the challenge? And I've got the last 3 foils, or 4 foils. What is the challenge the university have? I believe the challenge of the university, when I talk about it before I told yes to Ron, is the same challenge as the high school. And if you come to think about it, it's very simple. Why? Because I don't know what the world will need from your people 10 or 15 years from now. But what I do know is that what you are teaching them today is going to be non-relevant 10 or 15 years from now. And we heard about it yesterday. So we need, it's very simple, we should prepare students to jobs that don't exist yet, to solve problems that haven't been defined yet, using technology that haven't been invented yet. That's the only challenge that I believe the university has, and the high school, and the kindergarten. Very simple. See, we should prepare students to jobs that don't exist yet, because you'll agree with me, you've got no clue what will happen 15 years from now. By the way, it's going to be totally different because of robots. Autonomous car is going to put 90 million people unemployed, etc. I will not go into this. Guys, I can show you diagram of billions of unemployed people that are going to be replaced by robots in the next 10, 15 years. Great thing for the University of Haifa to deep dive into and be ahead of the rest of the world. It's a tsunami coming. We need to solve problem. Nobody can tell me what's the problem that's going to happen 10 years from now. And we do not know what's the technology. We didn't have artificial intelligence 15 years ago, at least for the people. And the answer is very simple. We need to teach our students to think. We need to teach them to learn. Guys, I graduated at Technion. The Technion didn't prepare me for anything I did in Intel. I did microprocessor with 2 billion transistors. In the Technion, I did experiment on 2 transistors. But the Technion taught me how to learn. And when I came to tackle new issues, I had the toolbox to learn because the problem had been totally different. And I'll finish with 3 quotations. The first one, hey, you're too fast. Go back. Go back. No, you cannot blame me. To get such an attitude, I can stay with my wife at home. Knock it off. This was a joke. And don't tell my wife. You'll see her tonight. First of all is Alvin Toffler. He was a futurist, and he was the editor of Fortune 500. And he say, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be who does not know to read and write, but who does not know to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And by the way, if I look at the high-tech again, I believe that many of the high-tech people will come to the end of their career at the age of 45, 50. We look to go to school again and learn and be prepared for new opportunities. And again, we can be there after we'll decide if this is really the thing which is in our strategy. The third thing I want to share with you, it's a very, I don't know if it's sad or great. This is one of the people that I really admired. I believe it's a tragic person. And he invited me to his house. And actually, I believe probably I was the last one that saw him before he passed away. And now he invited me to his house, and he wanted to speak about the robots. I will speak about when are we going to have microprocessor, human brain, all this kind of thing. And his curiosity was crazy. You know, he was asking me questions that scientists didn't ask me. And he said, Mooly, I would like to speak about it. And when we speak again about robots, what's going to happen, he asked me a question. He said, Mooly, how are we going to make sure that all this progress is going to be ethical? And I thought for a second, and I say, Mr. Perez, I don't want to frustrate you, but if I look at all the progress in the world, at least that I was working, it was done either due to military uses or due to economy, greed. Ethics was never driving any innovation. Ethics came later on. You know, we started with atomic bomb that we threw in Hiroshima. Then we came, okay, the treaty, what do you do? It's stuff like this. And then he said to me a sentence in English, and we never spoke in English. And I don't know if this was the will that he left me. He said, Mooly, technology without ethics is evil. Ethics without technology is poverty. That's the reason we must combine the two. And I believe, really believe in it, and I got it before I say yes to Ron, that the University of Haifa, with his expertise, is positioned probably better than any other university to take advantage of these things, because today when you do high-tech, you cannot progress because you don't know what to do with the ethical problem. You hear about autonomic cars, and I spoke with somebody, but if you've got the option, and you do the calculation, the algorithms, the artificial intelligence, and then you have two options. Either you kill him or you kill the driver. Who do you kill? That's nothing to do with high-tech and technology. It's an ethical problem. And most of the people say, if it's not my decision, kill him. I don't want to be killed. Otherwise, I will not drive the car. And I say, great. Now it's a couple with the kids. Who are you going to kill, them or yourself? And same thing with cyber. If you are attacked by cyber, can you retaliate with normal? All the issues that we were used to work as high-tech people dealing with the high-tech, suddenly you need answers. By the way, and the reason is not because you like ethics. It's because the next time somebody will give litigation against you, you'll find out that your algorithm was wrong. It will cost you billions of dollars. And I believe the University of Haifa is there. And last and not least, Alan Kay, my friend, he came from Xerox PARC. For those of you who do not know Xerox PARC or Alan Kay invented the mouse that Steve Jobs stole. Alan Kay invented the icons that Steve Jobs stole. But I'm not underestimating Steve Jobs. He's great, and he actually took the invention, make it innovation. But Alan Kay says one thing. He said the best way to predict the future is to invent it. In an exponential world, there's no way to know what will happen 5, 10 years from now. I remember in 2003 when we were designing Centrino, which started the revolution also to the notebook, we say something very funny. We asked people, what do you want? And everybody told us, we want a cable that can take the download the data faster. We say, no, you'll have Wi-Fi. You will not go to hotel. We've been the joke of the industry. Nobody asked the Wi-Fi. And we went with the Wi-Fi. We've been joke of the industry. And after 3 years, there was 95% attachment to every computer to Wi-Fi. And people ask us, how did you know that everybody would like to have Wi-Fi? And the answer was, we didn't know. We couldn't predict the future. We created the future. And I believe the same thing of the university, our job collectively, Ron, Gustavo, myself, the management part and the academic part, is to try to invent a better future for the academic, because we need to excel as academic research, a better future for our students, and a better future for the State of Israel. Thank you very much.